All right. Looks like we are live. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Talk About It Tuesday. And this week, I did not bring a national staffer on, so don't get sad. But what I did bring on is a good friend of ours and an individual who works for the Brands of Brunswick as a RSM. You might be familiar with, or terms like that, but a brand manager type deal. But I want to welcome to the program Adam Ishman. So, Adam, what's going on, my man?
How are you guys doing? Good to be here.
We're doing pretty good. Obviously, if you caught the program last night, I'm unfortunately stuck in quarantine right now myself, but feeling good. And, had been looking forward to, this broadcast. Not because it's just you, Adam, but because I have nothing to do all day. So 7:30 took a really long time for me to get here. But we're excited to talk about a ball and have somebody on here, to kind of talk through the ball with us a little bit and give another perspective on the Ebonite Allure Solid. So the one unique thing before we really get in here talking to this, Adam, is we have a clip we'll be able to show up to kind of introduce the ball, and I thought it was one of the most unique ones thus far that we've produced because Adam is going to be the one in the video throwing the ball, but the voiceover is done by some guy named Tommy Jones. So,
well, it sure is not me. I know that.
Yeah, I don't know. Usually it's Tommy throwing the ball, and we get somebody like Brian Graham that's got like the voice to do the voiceover. But this one's unique. So I'm going to actually fire this up on the feed, introduce the ball, and then Adam and I will get into kind of talking a little bit more about it in detail and get his impressions and stuff on it. So let's fire it up here on the screen here and get this going for everybody. Hopefully the audio works.
Tommy Jones here, and I'm excited to help introduce the Allure Solid. Compared to the Allure Pearl, the Allure Solid will give you more hook potential and traction on a variety of lane conditions you'll run into. The eye-catching purple-blue Allure Solid will not only look good, but will give you that strong, controlled benchmark ball reaction you've come to expect from the Ebonite family. The new edition features the Traxian SF solid cover stock, finished with 500, 1000, 2000 SIA air, and will be best suited for medium to heavy oil conditions. The Allure symmetrical core has an RG of 2.475 and differential of 0.49 and utilizes Dynamicore outer core technology. Dynamicore not only increases the hitting power at the pins, but also increases the durability and longevity of your new Allure Solid. Compared to the Allure Pearl, the Allure Solid will give you more hook potential and traction on a variety of lane conditions you'll run into. They were designed to complement each other perfectly and give you versatility you need to score your best. The Allure Solid is available in pro shops everywhere December 3rd. Ebonite Bowling, bowl to win. Hi, Ebonite fans. Tommy Jones.
All right. So pretty good video we got to see there, Adam. And the unique thing about it is again, we got to see the comparison right off the bat between the original Allure that released and then the Allure Solid that is coming up December 3rd. So outside of the video, why don't you give us your first kind of impressions of the ball, kind of what you saw out of it, and lead us off.
So the first time I actually threw the ball was the video. I didn't have a chance to drill this ball previous to that just because of all the balls coming out and me not bowling as much as what I used to. So we decided that this was going to be the one that I would do video on. And, the first couple shots I threw with it, I was like, wow, this is a lot stronger than I thought it was going to be. Purely based off of the Allure, the original Allure. I mean, it's a good 3 to 4, even 5 more than what I saw with that one. You saw in the video that one shot was 5 and 3 left of what the Allure was. And it's really that coming from the brands of Kentucky Ebonite, we had a full breadth of products. So there was a lot of benchmark balls in there with like game breakers and balls like that, where those balls were no longer available. This ball fills that gap. This is that first ball out of the bag, you know what the lanes are going to do because of it, type ball reaction. And the first 3 or 4 shots I threw, I was immediately impressed with it, just because of how controllable it was throughout the whole lane.
Yeah, pretty impressive. And I haven't had a chance to put holes in this one either. I do have one sitting here, and I'm looking forward to actually throwing this down the lane, because going back to the original Allure, that was a good piece in itself. And for me, that's definitely a ball where, I want it to be a little cleaner in the front part of the lane, but it's not overly aggressive. It's a very controlled piece for me, for a Pearl. But what this Allure, it's eye-catching. I mean, the colors on this thing, we could put in the video and you can see what Adam threw there. But when you get this thing up close, this ball has really got a ton of shelf appeal to it. And,
the picture really doesn't do it a whole lot of justice in the corner up here. It really doesn't do it a whole lot of justice, because it does stand out a little more than what you see there.
Yeah. But then, you match that with performance, and I think you hit the nail on the head there, because, as we're building out, the line, since they've come over to the brands of Brunswick, we've started releasing quite a bit of balls this year in the 4 brands that were previous of the EBI brands, to start building new arsenals from top to bottom. And, within the Ebonite brand, this was a big glaring piece that was needed, because we had the Omni, and we had the Omni Hybrid that was released in the asymmetrical realm, and then we had the symmetrical Pearl, but we didn't have like the really good benchmark symmetric solid in there. And my first impressions of this, when I watch it roll down the lane, gave it something close. If you're looking at some of our other brands, almost reminded me of like a Fugitive Solid, or something along the lines of, just a little bit more in the body of the lane. Now, I don't know if you've thrown both of those, Adam, but do you have this one maybe a little rounder than that, a little cleaner?
Fugitive Solid is, I mean, for the price, it's a ton of hook. It's definitely that big boy symmetric type ball that fits that brand. This is that same type of thing. It's just a little clean, like you said. It's just a little cleaner. It's still that good shape, continuous shape down the lane, but through the middle part of the lane, this one is definitely 3 to 4 feet longer, maybe 5 feet, depending on lane surface and lane condition. But this is definitely something that would be a nice step down if you still needed that smoother type shape.
Yeah, perfect. So when it was the first time you got to throw these, obviously, like you said, you walked in, kind of shot the video, good first impression. Now, when you're approaching this, Adam, whether you're doing a video or not doing a video, are you the type of player that, kind of drills the first one out of the bag, the same way each and every time to get kind of a baseline for it? So was the Allure, the original Allure, and then this Allure, a pretty similar layout for you?
They're exactly the same. Okay, I actually drilled both of them for the video. So they were drilled the exact same time. They had the exact same amount of games on them at 0. So they were literally brand new off the press and into the video shoot.
Oh,
they're a pin up. That was 4 1/4 for my axis. That's just my standard pin up type drill that I've been using for about a year now. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's simple, and a lot of us do the same thing. I mean, I think a question we asked a lot from any player that's on the program is, we got to see you throw it in a video, okay? But, in terms for anybody on the technical side, what's your axis point, Adam? What are kind of some of your stats?
Poor. The stats are poor.
I didn't ask about your posting abilities. I asked about your stats of your ball.
So I'm 4.5 3/4 up as a PAP. Tilt has changed quite a bit. I've changed my grip a little bit. In my older age, I can't stay under it as long as I used to. So I've changed my grip to try and roll it a little more. I'm down in the 12 or 13 degree range. Axis tilt is around 75, and rev rate's still 425-ish.
I don't think your axis tilt is 75. Maybe your axis rotation.
Axis rotation, yes. Sorry. Too many axes.
I was like, wow, Adam, you're pretty good, man. 75 degrees of axis tilt. That's
and I can still get it to hook. That'd be amazing, right?
Your ball would be hooking in the ball return coming back, but
yes, correct.
All good fun. But it's it makes sense, and he brings up another good point. I know we're talking about balls, but when your hands change over time, and Adam, long time worked in a shop for a number of years, and kind of where you got your start in the game, I believe, correct?
Yep. 10 years.
10 years. And what area was that? Back in the Vegas days?
That was Vegas. So
Yeah.
I lived in Vegas for the last 15 years. So I was in pro shops for 10 of it, and then I became part of the Ebonite brands in 2015.
All right. And, grip change happen over time, right? And there, physically we can't do the same things we did when we were younger. And, there's a number of ways you can do that when you're trying to increase tilt with pitches and, things along those lines. That's where you got to get with yourself with a good pro shop operator that understands those things and is able to match, the ball to the player as well. I mean, it's huge
absolutely.
Here.
It's there. We're all human and we all break down at some point in time. So yeah, I mean, changing your grip to try to manipulate things to make it feel comfortable and not hurt is very important.
Yep, absolutely. I've gone through it myself, and I age myself pretty quickly. I mean, I'm 42 now. My hand's not nearly what it used to be, and things change.
I'm 40.
Yeah.
So
you're a young pup yet. It's but it's having to work with Dave all the time probably aged you a few years pretty quickly.
Yeah,
so,
a lot grayer now.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to. We can see that. So on my end, but outside of the I think it's awesome that you're on here. Representing the brands of Brunswick and coming on here to talk about us. So I mean, outside of the Allure, what about some other pieces that are currently out? Ones that have you pretty excited. Ones that maybe you think the viewers out there should really be taking a peek at as well.
Well, I mean, the biggest release currently that we can talk about is obviously Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
Black Widow is a Black Widow. It's the same core. It's the same thing that was made for all these years. It's a proven thing. It's the most popular core probably of all time. It is just a great rolling piece, and this one is no different. Coming over to the Brunswick brands, coming out of a different facility, I can tell you that this was one that we had our eye on to make sure that this was going to be a home run ball, and it certainly is.
Yeah, I couldn't. I've actually had a chance to throw that one quite a bit before before it was locked down in my house here, and from the sales side of it as well. I mean, from a selling point, unbelievable how many of these are flying out the doors. I mean, distributors. So if there's anybody out there waiting on balls, distributors are getting them. The demand is so high. It reminds me of almost what we went through back when we were, when Hopkinsville was still running and the pink one came out and they couldn't make them fast enough. They even ramped up even faster for this 2.0 to be ready for it. And guess what? The demand is even more than we could have anticipated. I mean, I know distributors outside of maybe one were out of widows again this week, but have a whole bunch more coming.
Even with COVID and the uncertainty in the bowling industry of, what's happening. And in my territory, I handle the West Coast. A lot of the states are closed and there's not a lot of bowling going on right now. And there's still, distributors in the West are still reordering 2, 3. I know there was one that actually put in an order again today. So, I mean, they are just as plentiful as they were in the past. The pink one, you brought up the pink one. I mean, that was there was a feeding frenzy for that ball for a little bit, and I see this one being the same way. It's a Black Widow. Yep. There's really not much else.
I'm gonna be here to break it to everybody that's out there. As popular as the pink one was, this one is way better than the pink one. Just saying. Yeah. This is a Black Widow, folks. This is the closest thing I've ever thrown to. Not a direct remake, but that nostalgic, like it takes me back. You know what I mean?
You have one chance to remake a Black Widow
yes.
in a new facility and make it, the same color, the same name, and add 2.0 to it. And this is it. This is a home run. So kudos to the guys in R&D, Rich and Billy and those guys. They did it. This one's good.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And, it's just like every release right now, we're on here each week. We're talking about it, a different ball that, that comes out and we're kind of reviewing it. And a lot of weeks we'll throw it on Thursday. Then this week being Thanksgiving, that's not going to happen. But I'm so overly impressed with everything that's really coming out at this point. There's just so many balls, and there's 7 brands to try to balance. And, it still feels like, as fast as we're trying to get bowling balls to market, there's still a whole lot of legwork that has gone in to make sure that these releases make sense. And even with 7 brands, there's not a ton of what I call one-on-one direct overlap. The other day we were talking a lot, in another feed about the 2.0, and then somebody asked some questions. Well, how close is the Incognito to it? And, you can look on, we can look at numbers and cores and all that stuff all you want. But when they go down the lane, they're still different enough from one another that, they're not right on top of each other's laps. And I think that's that's a testament too to how the lines blend, even with 7 brands. The front to back movements for me on these bowling balls are considerably different, and that's huge. I mean, that's one of the biggest things for me.
Yeah, having 7 brands, you're right. There is a lot of product that comes out, but we're building balls for a purpose to fit into every individual line, and you almost have to really look at them as individual things rather than one big company.
Yep.
Because then if you look at it as one big thing, you're like, wow, there's so many balls. Why so many? But if you individually look at it, Track has 5 balls, and Ebonite has 6 balls, and so on and so forth, and it really isn't that much in the grand scheme of it per brand on what's going on. So if you have those loyalists to the Hammer brand, or the loyalists to the Track brand, or a Radical brand, or whatever it may be, you can stay within that brand and basically cover pretty much everything you need now that there's a full breadth of product in pretty much every line.
Finally. I mean, it has been one of the most challenging years. I mean, we're a year and a handful of weeks now since the actual acquisition.
It's been 1 year and 10 days.
1 year and 10 days. Okay. So I was close, but 1 year and 10 days, and COVID smacks us in the face in March, right when, we have some launches, and then we're basically down, and, we can only do limited things, working from home, and, the plant working at limited, capacity. So the fact that here we are in November going into December, and now, unfortunately, seeing another influx in this, where we're sitting now to be able to talk about how much we were still able to do is a testament to how committed the brand is to essentially getting products to the market as fast as they can, but also with, quality and performance in mind.
Well, and they have to be timed appropriately as well, because you can't just throw 5 balls out there for one brand and say, here you go, this is it. It makes it too hard to sell. So now that there's, COVID definitely changed the world a little bit when it came to the calendar of products coming out, because I feel bad for BG and Ron and those guys whenever they were in those meetings in March, April, May, June, and they're trying to figure out what's going to happen and when. It was changing all the time, just trying to make sure that it made sense for when we announced balls and got them to market. Because quite frankly, for about 4 months there really wasn't a whole lot of reason to make balls or to bring them out when there was no bowling. Between March and more or less June, there really wasn't a whole lot of bowling going on anywhere. And, it's hard. We want to give the balls that we want to help pro shops and have them get a chance to get rid of the product that was already out in the market. And then there were balls that came out in February and March that really never had a chance because the bowling shut down. Mm-hmm. So how do we continue those balls along and help everybody along the way?
Yeah. And that's, some people see it now, now that we're open back up, and it's not just our company. I mean, it's with the other companies as well. Like, why are you releasing so many balls? It's like, well, we're really not. They just got pushed back. I mean, it's, they still got to come to market.
Timing is everything.
Everybody needs to understand too, is like when you see a bowling ball released today, this isn't like this thing was thought about last month, right? So on a timeline of a bowling ball, Adam, I mean, for you working firsthand there, I mean, it comes to fruition about a year?
From concept to mass produce to the public, it could be anywhere from 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're talking about a large investment in the R&D time frame to have something that you see out in pro shops at like today. Yeah. So it's just not turn and burn. There's a lot of work involved in that kind of stuff. That's a lot of planning and a lot of, forward thinking on how it's going to look.
Right. And it's always about the next step, a ball that's popular now. I mean, obviously we just released the 2.0, but unfortunately you already got to be thinking about 12, 18 months out about what is the next iteration in that line where it kind of fits.
Absolutely.
Because That's how it works. I mean, it's essentially how the market works. And
I mean, you could just take the Allure for an example. The Allure, the original Allure was out. That was a February ball. So you had all this time. You're 8 months, 9 months in to that ball being in its sales cycle, which in today's world is quite a long time. So there's, when do we announce the next ball, which is the Allure Solid, and then what's the next ball after that, and so on and so forth. Like you said, do you continue on? Is this going to be a popular ball based off of what the other one did? Do you start new? What is it? What's the plan? And you just don't know until you get it to market and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's, questions are coming through, and I know you can see them too, and, or comments, but, somebody said, okay, the gas mask is back, bring back the Vibe Core. Huge. That's a huge name in the Hammer brand. Where are you going to see it? Look, we're not going to sit here and say yes or no. Adam probably knows way more than I do, but look, I'm going to tell you right now, it'll probably happen at some point.
There's certain things that there's some manufacturing differences as well that go into that as well, because how we made balls in Kentucky and how we make balls from a core perspective in Reynosa are different. Yep. So how do we make those pieces and parts fit together is challenging in some ways, but we've done it before. Obviously, the gas mask was the first one that you saw that was a very, very well-known core shape that we've brought back. So yeah, we're working on things. It's going to be a minute before you see some of these balls, but again, there's a lot of work and time invested in those types of things to try and make it the best product possible as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's, I'm keep going back to the same thing. I mean, right now I'm so overly impressed with the quality of the products that are coming out. Not just from a overall performance, but the way that they're going to market, the way that we're, discussing the products that are coming out and how they truly match up for what the actual intention was. Because again, we want to have the, nostalgia, and let's use the Brunswick name, right? Brunswick has been a mainstay in the game for a long period of time. And there's individuals out there that are going to throw nothing but Brunswick bowling balls. Mm-hmm. And, again, top to bottom, we can offer you whatever you need for Brunswick. The 4 brands that came over to Brunswick, these are going to be built out for a while here, gang, because there's not a lot of bowling balls in those brands at this point. What are we up to? About 4 or 5 now per brand, I believe.
Hammer's going to have, currently Hammer has the most. Track has 5.
Yep.
Let's see here. Ebonite is 5.
Now it's 5.
Hammer is now 5, 8.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, Columbia is 5. You're talking about some of these brands. For an example, I know with Hammer, being from Kentucky, working in Kentucky for all those years, we were 11 or 12 balls a year in that brand to fill that product line out. And some of the brands, it depends, obviously it depends on where they fit and things like that. So, with, Track now actually has 6, if you count the Tempo as, affordable type performance type ball. So you have 6 is plenty to build an arsenal depending on what it is or what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And, it's kind of funny to say it. Like, we have at our disposal pretty much any shape we could want. But I'm kind of maybe a little old school. Like, when I go to a tournament, I'm one of those guys that doesn't like to go in there with 15, 20 balls. Okay. I think it's almost too much variety for me. I like to still play around with the hand a little bit. I would rather go in there with 6, 8 balls and a spare ball. And, go in there and prepared and looking at the lane front to back. So again, it kind of matches what you're saying. 6 is enough to be ultra competitive in pretty much anything that you're doing. I'm not telling you not to buy more bowling balls. What I'm trying to say is that
we're here to sell balls.
There's enough in those brands that you can do it with within one brand. But man, with the amount of weapons that we have at our disposal right now, it's, I never walk into a building and feel like I'm missing a shape. Like, the worst thing that I hate seeing in somebody's post is can't outbowl bad ball reaction. You ain't ever going to hear that come out of my mouth, because again, we have how many bowling balls? If I can't find a ball reaction that's close, it's probably me.
Well, bowling is always it's a puzzle that the pieces really don't fit perfectly together.
Mm-hmm.
You're always using some tape and some super glue and putting the pieces and edges together and jamming them together and things like that, because it's a never ending puzzle that is always changing. So, to say that you can't outbowl bad ball reaction, give it 10 minutes. It could be completely different.
Yeah,
wait
for it to come to you.
It really just depends. So, it's a matter of understanding what you see and understanding what the box you live in is, and all you're trying to do is make that box a little bigger overall, so you have more tricks and tools in your bag. And it may not be the ball. The ball is just a piece. It's just a tool. You're still a tool yourself. On how many things that you can do to utilize that other tool the right way.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And hello to everybody that keeps saying hi to us as they're popping in and out here. I promise we're not ignoring us, but again, anytime there's two people on a feed that like to talk bowling, sometimes we just get talking and I don't even see the comments that are coming down the side.
But I do look at some people that I haven't heard from in a very long time.
Well, this is good. So I am going to scroll on it now just to make sure that there isn't any real good ones that we missed there. Nobody cares about Hi Adam. Gentleman's good.
None of the cast of characters have shown up to heckle me at all.
No, none of the guys from the home office are on. I'm a little shocked to that. We'll see if that comes through.
Well, we're all outside looking at the snow that's falling right now.
Yeah, they're not shoveling it. They're probably out looking at it with a drink in their hand.
That could be too.
We got a couple good comments on here. What do we got here? Let's see. Chris got a pretty good one here. So Chris, let's try to answer this for you. So me being a huge GB2 fan, will this fit with it? Go ahead, Adam, if you want to take this. I have my thoughts on it.
So if you took the Ebonite Game Breaker line from the past and you took a GB2 and a GB3 and put them together, that's what this ball is. So it's controllable like a GB2, but it's stronger. A GB3 was just a little stronger overall. So this is that little stronger overall shape than what you would see with what the GB2 was, from 10 years ago, because that ball's been around it was quite a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I kind of had it there too. I mean, for me too, overall strength, you're saying like GB3 was definitely earlier than GB2 for me. So, if this thing kind of falls in the middle, but to answer, on that, Chris, I mean, it's still going to give you that same symmetrical kind of benchmark, controlled kind of look to a bowling ball. So very, very dependable, very easy to read. A ball that you're definitely going to be able to get out of your bag and help you read a lane, front to back, or it's kind of seeing what it's doing left to right as well.
And surface adjustments and things like that. I always say if you're trying to tweak things from a you're trying to fit something into your bag or replace something that was a little older, you can always alter surfaces and things like that to try and make them like it was. Now, if you had a couple hundred games on a ball, sometimes they just get a little slower and a little lazier down the lane, where a newer cover is going to be a little more responsive. So that could be a little bit of it too. You're kind of comparing apples to oranges a little bit in some ways that way too.
Yeah. Another one coming in here asking us to compare it to a Vortex 2.
Hey, Mark. Hey, that's actually my picture in his profile pic. That's pretty cool. I would say it's less overall than a V2. It's going to be a little more angular down the lane. It would just be the step down from what a V2 would be in your bag.
Yeah, V2, I'm definitely sitting on a bunch of those. I mean, I was kind of the last pour, so you can still get them, which is amazing to me.
Yeah,
I thought I would have thought those would have been all snatched up out in the industry, but definitely got a few sitting around that I'm not putting holes in, just kind of hold on to.
There was a lot of balls that needed a home there whenever everything ended, so there's going to be some time before all those balls are all gone. And there's some hoarders like yourself. There's some hoarders out there.
Yeah, I'm not nearly as bad as what I used to be. I mean, there was a time when I was one of those guys that just would buy up every old piece. I slowly start getting rid of them when you start valuing space more than stuff, and
It's a
and if you
bowling
don't,
ball. It's a bowling ball. It's hard, especially in our business, to throw old balls because it just doesn't make sense.
yeah, and I'm with that too, and I know Dave's not on, and I always talk to him about it all the time. I said, I wish our area, they would allow me to throw some of this newer stuff. I'm not saying I don't throw newer stuff, but I get stuck in like tempos and counterattacks and things like that because there's just dirt to the right of every pattern in the area I'm from. So it's hard to throw some of the newer stuff.
Michigan. Come to Muskegon. You want to see some cliff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's cliff, but I mean, it is just dead dirt to the right. So it's out the window and, get the ball to stand up at, 38, 39 feet and hope you don't get 4 through the middle. But Eric, my arsenal is a Hammer 3D offset and a Black Widow Pearl. Okay, so it has been a while, and a Hammer hot sauce. Any new gear? What do you recommend off of that? So, Eric, you got some really nostalgic pieces there. So it's been a while. Your newest one,
some really good ones too.
Yes, very, very good ones. One of them that put pretty much Mo. I don't want to say Mo on the map, but one of Mo's best designs, if you will, in that offset. And Black Widow Pearl. If you're in love with those, Eric, and you're going to start building the bag, I know it's not it's not a Pearl that came out, but start with a Black Widow 2.0 and kind of put a fresh asymmetric ball in your bag there. And if you're really into the Hammer line and you like the hot sauce, you maybe want to look at I'm not really sure of all your parameters, but look into something like a Fugitive Solid to replace that, like a solid symmetric. Or if you want something a little smoother, by all means, that Web Tour Hybrid is really special as well. So. Good question there.
Yeah, I mean, you got two asymmetric balls and a symmetric piece there. So, I mean, you got a little bit of everything. I mean, you got some shiny balls, some dull balls. You got, a variety of stuff, solid Pearl. You really can't go wrong with what Jeff's saying. I mean, he's got you in the right position there.
Yeah, for anyone that's kind of like, has questions on bowling balls, and, we do our best during these feeds to, answer those. But with so many options that are out in the market, not all of you are going to have the opportunity to, come see me, at my shop. Again, we're here to kind of educate on new releases, but, work with your pro shop in your areas where you're from if you're not close to me. Okay. And it's important that you kind of go in there and ask some of these, the same questions as you're kind of learning about these balls. And, get with the right pro shop operator that's really going to take the time to kind of walk through what your parameters are, how you throw the ball, how you kind of look at a lane, because they're going to even be able to give you a better recommendation than I am if I haven't seen you bowl. So to answer, like Eric, I'm giving you some suggestions. But for instance, let's say you were in my area. I'm actually not going to I'm not going to drill you a bowling ball until I see you throw. Okay. I'm actually going to get you on the lanes. We're going to, do an in-depth evaluation of how you are as a bowler and then match, the best suggestion there. So they might have been mainstays in your bag for a long period of time and they're great balls. But again, they've changed a lot over the years too when it comes to the cover stocks and the cores and everything else. And we want to make sure, based on your ball speed, rev rate, everything that kind of goes into the equation there, that a pro shop operator is going to, really get you the absolute best choice. Look at that smirk, ear to ear. Somebody calls Adam sexy on the feed. I'm going to put it up so we can see it. That this is the things that make Adam smile. It made his day. He gets all giddy when he's told he looks sexy.
Hi, Mark.
Carrie's been whispering that stuff to me the whole time I'm sitting here. Not really, but see if I missed any other one. Where are the Elite Warriors? Wow. You had 4 Elite Warriors.
That was the green one.
The green one. Yeah. Yeah, the green ones, the red ones, they were really good as well. Back throwing brands of Brunswick. We actually love that. So good to hear there, Steve. I'm trying to kind of think off the top of my head off of a green warrior. That was Adam, that was a mass neutral ball, wasn't it? So I'm almost positive. Those are the days of mass neutral.
I still have those presentations somewhere in my computer, but I believe that was yes, you are correct. That would have been a mass neutral ball because the ones we used were Warriors, Urges, and Paradox, I believe.
Yeah.
So Wow, that's a long time ago, and I still remember.
Yeah, it's a long, unfortunately, when it comes to being a bowling nerd, you remember some of that stuff. And the only reason I'm saying that to you, Steve, is look, if you really like those and those balls rolled that well for you, look for things that got a lot of the mass placement on a ball a little lower, where that core is in there. That plays a big part. It
Well,
does.
the numbers, obviously finding the numbers for that ball and things like that, trying to get them, close is a big deal.
Yep,
That was,
absolutely.
by the way, that was 247.057. So Black Widow,
Yeah.
Black Widow would be pretty close. Obviously changing the surface a little bit because that Warrior Elite was a little, it was a duller surface, so you may be able to just, hit it with a little bit of surface, and it should be pretty close.
Pretty close, and if you're going to really get nostalgic talking about that 2.0, don't forget to bury those fingers. Right, that was always the 3 inches on the fingers, baby. You always had to make sure you got into that core. Well, again, just showing a little age there. Been drilling.
Been doing this a long time,
a really long time. So
it's doing this a long time.
Yeah, but that's what makes it fun. I talk about it on the feeds all the time. I mean, it's just amazing we can sit here and be on a feed from 2 completely different states, just chatting about bowling. And could you imagine if we had this kind of stuff, when we were kids? I mean,
oh God, I don't even know. It would be. I would have never left my house, but I would have bowled a lot less and watched a lot more. But yeah, I mean, it's an amazing. Kids have such an advantage nowadays, and really you can see it with youth bowling as well. Because they're not afraid of anything. Because the education and the information that's out there for them is limitless, really, to be honest.
Yeah, it is, and I think another thing, a big one that you're talking about there that maybe has changed a little bit, at least for the way that I coach. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little dry here. For the way that I coach is different than how we were brought up, right? When we were brought up, old school, our parents or dads or whoever coached us back then, don't drop your shoulder, keep your, everything straight. It was an old school mentality. And now, like when I teach these kids, and I think why they get so good at such a young age is because they've all become so powerful. Because when they're really young, I'm very adamant with the families and the parents who, kind of push. They want these kids to be robots. And I said, I don't care if the kid runs to the line right now and how he gets it out of his hand to get on it, because getting that strength and as they're growing is way more important than making their bowling game look pretty. Okay. Pretty can come later when they start growing into their bodies and they start understanding a little bit more what it is to control it a little more. But when you're trying to create power, let these kids run, man. Let them generate foot speed.
Not everybody, if you're using examples like for picturesque and people that have done it the same way for all these years, not everybody's Parker.
Yeah.
And if I was to teach my kid nowadays, I don't know if I would. I love Parker to death, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if that's today's game or not. Going towards the power game is clearly where it's going.
Yep.
So it's two-handed and things like that are definitely a lot more attractive to the younger crowd.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about this the other night. Heck, I even talked about it when Billy was on the program, and we talked about two-handed bowling and stuff, and neither one of us want to do it. We'd probably just retire, but it's you have to. You have to. We embrace it. We understand it. We teach it. Just because I don't do it myself doesn't mean I don't teach it, but it is keeping individuals interested in the sport. It's just like anything else. It's an iteration. It's how it's going to change. I don't know what the longevity is going to be with the style. But again, if it keeps us on the lanes and it keeps kids interested and they're the clients of the future, then we're going to evolve with it.
There's been people over time that have obviously changed the game in some facet, whether it was just different. There's no better or worse. It was just adapting to what was available. And you go through the Belmos and Mark Roths and people like that, Mark Roth was like the original cranker, yep. and nowadays his rev rate's like half of EJ Tackett, and it's just, things have changed. Yep. And it's just, you have to adapt with it or you're going to go by the wayside.
Yeah, look at the power. Look at EJ. How much does he come up on his toes? I mean,
yeah,
foot speed's incredible. I mean, guys like Gumby, but Simo, even if you're two-handed, he's up on his tippy toes. I mean, it's just generation of power. I mean, it's an evolution of the game, and I used to think that my rev rate was reasonably high, and now I watch these young kids coming up going, "Yep, that's not even close."
I'll never forget. I bowled a tournament. This was probably 5 or 6 years ago now that I crossed. It was the same pair. I crossed with Ronnie Russell and EJ Tackett, and I'll never forget that I went back to like my 18-year-old self and said, "Man, I was the biggest rev rate in town, and now I'm like the straight guy on this pair."
You're a tweener.
Yeah, I'm just not. I just can't do it anymore, man. It's just amazing how much it's changed over the years and how powerful it really has become.
Yeah, and that's technology with the bowling balls, the lane conditions we're bowling on. The conditioning is different now. You get into these high school and college programs where there's more conditioning for the game, and people treating it more with athletic prowess now than maybe we did when we were growing up. Like I wasn't in the gym trying to get stronger, get my core strengthened and my legs. And
what's that? What's a core?
It's in a ball.
Thank you.
Yes. That's what we know. It's in a ball. But yeah, I think we both have core muscles, Adam. They're just underneath a few years of good living. That's how I like to describe it.
Sounds about right.
But and nonetheless, I mean, it's it's still it's fun to watch the evolution of it. It's fun to see what these kids can do with our bowling balls. It's unbelievable. Some of the shapes they can make with them. But and they can even make us look good, man. We may be getting up there in age, but let's be honest. I mean, you shot a video. I pick on you all the time because you haven't posted a shot since '72. But in the video, you posted every shot there, and I was pretty proud.
It's all that practice I'm doing here. I'm just, after you insulted me in Columbus, I figured I'd have to go practice a lot more.
Yeah.
Really work on my core. I'm working on my core. That's really the whole goal here.
This is exactly true. I mean, at least when you were in Columbus, you got to finish the event. I can't be.
I beat you because I bowled the whole time.
And mine wasn't a core injury; it was a groin. So I'm really showing my age. It's how'd you get hurt? I bowled. That's just part of life.
It's your lower core. It's your lower core.
Yeah, miserable, but yeah, all in good fun. Adam and I like to pick on each other a little bit here, but it's it's just part of the game. It's it's part of why we love this sport too. It just brings everybody together. But
no, it's all about the people. I mean, I talk about this all the time with people. I mean, the industry is full of great people, and I'm very humbled and privileged to be a small piece of what's going on, and hopefully I can help some people along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have helped. I mean, I've seen Dave bowl lately. I know you did recently went through and did a grip change for Dave.
Reinventing the wheel on old man.
Yeah, I mean, his ball speed's over 14 now, which is cool. And he's, from what I understand, he's one of the high averages in that cliffed over league that you're bowling
They're
on
impossible. They're impossible, and he's 235, and no one can break 220, and he's got 750 every week.
That's sick. After he started, I think he took too much heat the first week when he had a contest, and I think he went out and bowled like 520 or something.
560. Yeah, because we had an ongoing thing that he would be the lowest series of the year with 560, and that has clearly been destroyed by other people on our team that Mike Dole that haven't had the best of luck on the left side lately.
Oh, that's because he's sliding right of the big dot. He's just not doing it right.
He's got air,
brother.
He's got nothing.
He's got air. I get it. He's probably what we have in our league, but I always pick on the lefties going the other way. It's like right now, it's the Grady lefty fest in the world right now. In pretty much every region, everybody plays 10-5, and they win every event. I mean, especially in the East here right now, the left is really good. Take advantage of it. Dole, move yourself to the left. I don't know if you got to back your hand out of it or what you got to do, but 10-5, brother. We got a nice. Is this one of your staffers here? Is Kevin one of your guys out there?
Yeah.
Great guy for everybody. Chance definitely takes care of staff, possible pro shops guys. hopefully he can start taking care of everybody out there on the West Coast. I know it's been kind of trying here, Adam, for you to have the region where you don't even get to do your job 100%. But
it's been tough, since really since about March when things started to shut down. We did a seminar trail in late February and early March, and the last stop I made was in Seattle, and that was right when the craziness happened. And I honestly didn't know if I was going to get home. And I got home on March 15th, and March 18th the world ended. And it's been an interesting ride ever since. Some of the guys, I don't know if there's any California guys in here, but some of these guys in California haven't been able to open since March. And it breaks my heart to watch, and obviously I have a lot of relationships with people that I've gotten to know over the years, and it's a shame to watch years and years of hard work to be destroyed by something that they can't control at all.
Yeah.
So it's hopefully things, you try and stay positive, and we're confident that the bowling business is going to flourish when this is all over, but it's just getting through it.
It is, and we're trying to be as patient. I mean, we've been fortunate enough to be able to open back up, but there's rising cases here and tournaments getting canceled, and restrictions that are in place, and you still got to put your head up and be as positive as possible. I honestly, like, these sessions that we do on here and talking back to everybody and stuff is it keeps me kind of positive, and just keeping bowling in front of us, and really really
just got to keep it relevant, man. You just got to keep it relevant.
Yep. And it's and I think it gets everybody's juices going, and I'm hoping the rest of the vaccinations and stuff that are en route are going to be effective, and can start getting some people back into work, and especially out in West Coast. I mean, California is it's brutal. I can't even imagine.
The guys, Dave Husted's, a customer of mine, and obviously anybody that's been, in the bowling business for any amount of time, obviously knows who Dave Husted is.
Yeah.
But I mean, owns a bunch of bowling centers in the Portland area, and he's done everything. A lot of these guys have done a lot of work and spent a lot of money to abide by whatever rules that they have, and unfortunately the rules change every now and then, and they're just trying to get open and say and make sure people have some type of outlet and they're safe while they're doing it.
Yeah.
So hats off to everybody out there that's that's going through it, and they're a business owner trying to play by the rules. It's a tough game right now.
Absolutely. And, I know Adam probably tells all his customers, and I tell mine the same thing, or people we're helping out. I mean, we're here for you. I mean, we'll do whatever we can for you to try and help get through these, through this stuff, and try to keep it upbeat, but it'll be back.
It'll be back. It'll be back.
I was talking the other night, it's, I got the itch to bowl now, which is amazing because, for so many years, injuries and just life and, everything else kind of getting in the way, and, healthy. It was getting, this past year for the most part. I know, just joking about getting hurt in Columbus, but for the most part, was throwing it really well, and was out in Vegas last year for Ron Moore's event and finished second out there. And like, stuff was starting to come together. I was signed up. I was so psyched to go bowl the Masters, and bang, it's just taken away. So it's, but I did, Adam, I signed up. So, immediately when the Masters came back open, I signed back up. So if it is a go, you'll need something to do. You can come out and you can be on my bag. Give me
Gold Coast is the Gold Coast again, right?
Yeah, just point. Well, I'm going to try to bowl on the left side at Gold Coast. I'll just bowl left-handed.
Just throw your thing, you'll be fine.
Touche. We're going to have to, get some new purple balls there at some point, in the next couple months here, if I'm going to, throw some urethane. Everybody's always asking, what's next? What's next? And I'm going to tell you, folks, I don't have any inside scoop, and I don't actually pry on these guys. But, I tell them all the time, it's like, you know what? You want to see something sell? Just release a new purple ball, and sales will be through the roof. But you got to give it time.
Let's just ride what we have available right now. Let's not worry about the future.
Exactly. Buy those 2 O's. obviously by the Allure, really good one in the bag there. But
this is don't sleep. Please don't. I know we were here to talk about the Allure Solid, but please don't sleep on it. It is a phenomenal benchmark type piece that that would definitely fit into that game breaker type core shape type whatever you're looking for in that type of realm.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so easy when we're talking about balls or something. We just start talking about bowling, and then we come back and go, shit, we were on here talking about a specific bowling ball, and then we just bowling in general. But again, it's just, it gives us something to do, interact with everybody that's out there. But just, exactly what Adam said, and I was going to start wrapping some of this up, but, we've been talking 50 minutes. I say this stuff all the time on a feed. It's like, how the heck was I talking for 50 minutes? It's because it's bowling. It's, it's something that we love and something we love interacting with everybody. But this one, as we talked about at the beginning, this is December 3rd, correct, Adam?
Yes, sir.
December 3rd for the Allure Solid. I'm sure you can pre-order through your local pro shops. If you want to get one on pre-order, they're up on my site as well. If you want to get one in the works and make sure it's at your doorstep on time, by all means. After this feed, if you have more questions on this particular ball or any of the bowling balls from the brands of Brunswick, don't be afraid to reach out to either myself or Adam. You can find him on Facebook as well. He's not too hidden on there, and we'd be glad to answer any questions.
I'm very accessible. I'm very
Yeah, see, he's accessible. He was the first one in line. He actually begged me to come on the program tonight. I said, okay, Adam, I'll bring you on,
Yeah, this is my debut in a video, so I know I had to make sure. It's like a tour, it's like the talk show tour in the mornings. I'm doing everything I can to promote it.
Yeah, you know what? I felt pretty good about it, kind of going on that, kind of what you're saying there, going on a tour. So it just so happened the other week when I had Billy O on, I had O'Neill on, that it was right after the broadcast came on when he won the PBA playoffs. Mm-hmm. And it was literally, this was the first show he was on. It was kind of like, I felt like, yeah, I got Billy first. It was just pure luck because we were launching a ball and that stuff was taped. So he had already known he won, but I just happened to ask him at the right timing and got him on there. I was like, yeah, I feel pretty good about this. He's a pretty good bowler. He's been beating our brains.
I've been bowling with, against him since being from Pennsylvania, since we were kids. So he's beat our brains in for about 30 years now.
Yep. And he's going to continue to do it too. The guy just doesn't, there's a timeless game. You know what I mean? Simple.
Well, again, he's the old school game, but the new school in the new school world, and clearly has done a ton of work to make it successful. And hats off to him because he's done it for a long time at a very, very high level.
Absolutely. I couldn't be more pleased to have him as a teammate and representing the Hammer brand as well. But
great guy, a phenomenal guy.
But Adam, again, I just want to thank you for coming on tonight and, taking some time out of your extremely busy schedule there, pal, at the house to, come on here and talk to us and, talk through the bowling balls and bowling in general. And, obviously we appreciate the input. And I think that the video was very well done and glad Tommy got to do the voiceover. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Not many chances you get to have Tommy Jones do your voiceover while you're throwing the ball.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
Absolutely. That's exactly. I saw the video and I'm like, whoa, wait, this is different. This is cool.
I had a good laugh, by the way, and you'll appreciate this for the guys that are on my staff. I have a ball review tracker, and someone took it upon themselves to put that I did a video with for this ball and put Tommy Jones and Adam Ishman in the same thing. I thought that was funny.
that was a good idea. Good recruitment there, pal.
Hey,
Hey. It's going to work, but now you're a celebrity on all the sites, so now you're going to have to do your tours and just be
again. Yeah, I mean it's a lot of work, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. How we end all these feeds here, we always like to talk about. Obviously, go out and buy the brands of Brunswick. Please, December 3rd, look up this Allure Solid. If there's any other questions, please reach out to us. For right now, if you are able to, please go out and support your local proprietors, your local pro shops. If you're in an area that, bowling isn't available right now, keep your head up, keep positive.
Even reaching out to your pro shop guys just to say hi, make sure they're okay. It's a very, very tough time for them. And, I'm sure I can speak for my staff and some of the guys for Brunswick in general that, we're here to help, and, anything we can do, just not even from a professional level, from a personal level. I care about you as a human being more than anything else. So, again, it's very, very important that we're all together in this, and, we'll get through it as best as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. But all right, that is where we're going to wrap it up for the night. So, Adam, thanks again for joining us. We'll get this one put up here, and maybe the guys at the home office will get a listen to it tomorrow and see how much of a celebrity you are. But until then, everybody enjoy the holidays here. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Be safe about it. Enjoy a good meal, and we will be back sometime next week. Look for us next Monday on Meet the Staff.
You can watch the 10-0 Pittsburgh Steelers on Thanksgiving night.
Oh, yeah, okay. PA boy, I wasn't sure which side of it you were going on.
I'm from that side of the state.
Yeah,
I'm from Western Pennsylvania.
Oh, I knew where you grew up, but it doesn't mean you were actually a Pittsburgh fan. You could have been
no.
You could have been a Cleveland fan, man, based on what area you were from.
My wife's from Cleveland. There's 0% chance that would be part.
Yeah, but they took care of the other team you probably don't like too much from the Pennsylvania area. So Cleveland did something right.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks again.
So thank you. Really appreciate it, and everybody be safe out there. And thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you much. Have a good one.